Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this Wednesday, and welcome to this new educational presentation where today I want to talk to you about a brand new course that we're going to be presenting in the near future. This is our Managing the Trade course. Now, we really want to focus on what you do once the trade is in place. I know a lot of traders always say, well, Steve, I know how to manage a trade. I know exactly where to get in, like you teach us, and I know where to place my stop. So isn't that really what managing the trade is? Not exactly. We're going to really dive deep into what it means to apply trade management to your trading. And you can see in this example right here, let's take a look at this example, which was an actual buy signal by one of our strategies in TEAM, T-E-A-M. As you can see, a buy signal was generated right here a month or so ago. And most traders would say, well, okay, I've got it all figured out. I know where to get in, I know where to get out, whether I'm right or wrong. So isn't that proper trade management? But it's just around this time that all of a sudden it goes against you. Now, this is where traders have a very long stretch of difficulty. This is where we received emails from a lot of our students saying that they asked themselves this question at this point, which is, now what do I do? If you've ever asked yourself, now what do I do? That's a red flag saying that you don't know how to properly apply trade management, because you should always know what to do regardless of what happens. So looking back at this setup once again, let's say you would have seen that the market is going against you and you said, well, I'm only going to risk so much. I only want to lose $500 or so. So you exit the trade, you're frightened. Well, we would have actually gone along with you and said, okay, you could have taken a minimal loss, maybe less than that. But on top of that, with proper trade management, we would have told you where to get back in and how you could have potentially captured 14 points, recovering that loss and exiting. So this is what we're excited about, a brand new educational course that we call our Managing the Trade course. It's going to be in the very near future. We're excited about that. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it today. Now, everything you're seeing today is displayed coming from the PTS Primo Charting platform that will actually help and teach you how to manage the trade. And I'll tell you about that in just a few minutes. So welcome once again. My name is Stephen Primo. I am the president and founder of Specialist Trading. If you're new to my presentation, just a little bit of background about myself. I've been trading now for 47 years. I started my career on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the floor for a total of 16 years, and 9 of those years I was a specialist. That's where we get the name Specialist Trading. If you're not familiar with what a specialist is, it doesn't mean you're any more special than anyone else. But in the old days, if you ever Google those pictures of the guys yelling and screaming on the trading floor with lots of paper all over the place and lots of people running back and forth, almost looks like an ant farm when you look at it from a distance, very chaotic. Well, in the old days, if you wanted to buy or sell a stock, what you would do is you'd call your stockbroker over the phone. He'd put you on hold, and he in turn would call the floor broker who was on the trading floor. The trading floor broker would take your order. Let's say you wanted to buy 100 shares of XYZ, let's say IBM, okay? He would say, okay, hold on a second. He'd walk over to the trader who specialized in making a market in IBM. In fact, I did that roughly. That was one of my stocks that I made a market in. Okay, he would walk over. He would say, I want to buy 100 shares. I would sell it to him. And then he'd walk back on the phone and tell you, okay, you bought 100 shares of IBM at this price. And your stockbroker would then call you and tell you that you had the order filled. Okay, this is the way things were very antiquated in the old days. All right, there was no electronic trading. So this was the the decades of the specialist. So I did that once again for 9 years. I made markets in stocks like IBM, Waste Management, US Air. I made markets during the crash of 1987 and the bull market that followed. So in my 47 years of trading, I've seen just about every market environment you can think of: straight up markets, straight down markets, sideways markets. And on top of that, once I left the floor, I also managed money and traded for some other firms. And on top of that, I've traded just about every technique, every strategy, every system you can think of. So in my 47 years experience in trading the markets, I know what works in terms of consistency, and I know what doesn't work. So about 15 years ago, I teamed up with the company Pro Trader Strategies, where we formulated specialist trading with one goal in mind. And that was not to force feed you signals. It was not to tell you what to buy or sell. It was not to tell you what we think the best market is or the best time frame. It was only to teach you how to trade with all these things that have high levels of consistency. because it's our belief that the only way you will become a consistent trader is if you apply these yourself, if you make your own trading decisions. And so I'm happy to say we have students in over 115 countries and in virtually every state in the United States, with one goal, simply to educate you. And you'll see that in today's educational presentation. We really want to educate you, and that's why we formulated this new course, Managing Your Trade, because what we're really going to do is teach you how to manage the trade once you've already pulled the trigger. Now, before we begin, as always, we're required to share this with you, so please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results today by applying some of the techniques and systems and strategies that will be applied in the course. But please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And since we are first and foremost an educational company, all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. I see a lot of new names and faces here in our participant list. So I'm happy that you joined us today. I hope you're going to be learning something today, see how we teach our students around the world. A lot of people that are new to my presentation say, well, how can I get more education? Well, one of the best ways is simply to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there, abbreviation for Specialist Trading, at SBCLST. TRADG. I would recommend copying that down and following us, because every day I post anywhere from 5 to 7 different snapshots on Twitter or X, however you like to call it, of some setups that our signals have generated, or a little bit of financial wisdom. So there's lots of great free education on a daily basis. Also, we are live streaming this on YouTube right now, so it's not just on a Zoom presentation. You can also see us on YouTube. So if you'd like more of our presentations on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, and we'll be sending you a lot more as well online. Okay. Now remember, we are different from other presentations in that our only goal is simply to teach you how to trade. If you think, I always say this before the presentations, if you come here today thinking I'm going to tell you what the market's going to do, did we top out, did we bottom out, what the best stock is to buy, what the best stock is to sell, the way so many other webinars do, you've come to the wrong place, because that's not what a teacher does. That's not what a mentor does. If you ever want to learn some specialty, regardless of what it is, the person who's teaching you, the mentor, doesn't actually do the final thing for you. He teaches you how to do it, and then it's up to you to actually apply it. All right. Say you wanted to learn how to swim. Well, a swim instructor can teach you how to swim, but ultimately he's not going to be there with you every time you go into the ocean, into a pool. You've got to do it yourself. It's the same way with trading. You know, all these people that tell you how to trade and everything, ultimately you've got to do it yourself. Can't be relying on daily signals or what the person is saying in the chat room or on TV. You have to make your own trading decisions. In my 47 years, the only traders who are still around, who are still consistent, are the ones that make their own trading decisions. So this is why we formulated Specialist Trading, to actually teach you, not to force feed you signals, but to teach you how to trade with the specialist edge. Now, a few things today. We are going to be presenting what's included in this brand new course. This won't be one of our longer presentations. It'll be rather brief, because we don't want to give away what's included, how everything works in the actual course, but we'll share with you what's actually involved in the course, and we'll give you some examples. Now, if you have any questions, kindly wait till the end of class. I promise I'll go through each and every one of them. Also, this is being recorded, so if you have to leave early or if you're having technical issues, don't worry. Each and every one of you will be sent a link to this recording, okay? Once again, it won't be very long. It'll be a brief presentation, but we just want to share with you what exactly is included in this brand new course that we're really excited about. All right, so let's begin. We're going to introduce our new Managing the Trade course. Now, a lot of people think they know what trade management is. I would venture to say that most traders say, oh yeah, I have trade management. Once again, I know where to place my stop, or I don't really have a stop, but I know if I lose enough money, I should get out of the trade, or if it just doesn't feel right, I'll exit. That's trade management, correct? No, that's not proper trade management. That's why we formulated this course, because it's come to our attention that most traders have no idea what trade management is. So let's give you the proper definition. Trade management is everything a trader does after a trade is open until the trade is closed. So it's everything that happens either at the onset or after you're in the trade, and then until you close it out. all right? Even if you don't close it out at your hopeful exit with a profit. Everything that happens in between. I know a lot of traders like to trade systematically, and they say to themselves, well, I bought that $10,000 system, and it just tells me all I have to do is buy here and sell here, and then that's all I do. I can just sit back and wait. Well, that's not that. Sure, you can do that, but you're not applying any proper trade management. So this is what this course specifically deals with. Another way to explain this, to use some type of example, would be to say, let's say you're camping, we're still in summer, so let's say you're camping or in the mountains or whatever, and you want to go down a river. Let's say you want to just have a leisurely stroll down a river, and you rent a raft, okay? And you're going to go down there for, let's say, maybe a couple of hours, maybe the entire day, whatever. Now, trade management, or I should say regular traders in this example, would be the same example as a person just renting a raft and just saying, well, I'll just throw all caution to the wind and assume this is all I need. But how do you know if there are going to be rapids later on? Will that raft that you've rented be able to handle the rapids? What if there's a small little waterfall? Will you be able to go? Will you go over the waterfall? All right. So do you need a boat? Do you need a canoe? All right. What if after an hour or two, in the middle of the forest, you're going down this beautiful river, all of a sudden it just totally dries up and there's no more current, there's no more movement of the river, and it just dries up and you're stranded in the middle of nowhere, okay? That's the similar thing, that's the same exact thing as managing a trade. Just as if you're managing yourself down a river, you have to manage once you're in the trade. What if the market dries up and nothing happens? Are you going to sit there for days, weeks, or in an intraday trade, sit there for hours and say, gosh, nothing is happening. Should I exit? What should I do here? Or what if there's like the rapids in the river? Or what if all of a sudden volatility kicks in, some news announcement comes out, some event happens, and the market goes wild? What are you going to do? Okay. So this is what proper trade management is. You have to know what to do after a trade is open and told the trade is closed. You just can't sit back. Now, obviously, if things go your way, you won't have to do anything. But what happens once again if you hit the rapids or the river dries up and nothing is happening? Now, the purpose of trade management is because of this. Managing trades, by applying managing trades, proper trade management, traders can increase their profits while minimizing risk. So this is the reason why you want to apply trade management. You can also increase your profits. There's an ability to do that. And you can also minimize risk. So these are the two main advantages to applying proper trade management. And this is what we're going to cover in detail in the course. We're going to show you numerous ways to apply trade management with the hopes of increasing profits and minimizing your risk. So let's go over the curriculum, okay? And we'll show you some examples that we'll cover. Just a short, I'm not going to show you everything because I don't want to give away everything, but I'll show you just a small example of what will be covered in the course, okay? Now, firstly, we're going to have a deeper and more detailed explanation of why trade management is so important. I just covered the tip of the iceberg right now, but we're going to go into a little bit deeper of why you should be having trade management as part of your trading arsenal, okay? Next, we'll talk about initiating the trade. In other words, does the market agree with you getting into this trade? I know a lot of you may say that sounds kind of foreign to you. I don't understand, does the market agree? Well, that I will share with you a simple technique, a pattern recognition technique that will all automatically identify if the market agrees with you initiating this particular trade. For example, this was a buy signal by one of our methods in Costco in July, all right? It's a little over a month ago, all right? But using this particular technique, looking back at past signals, the market did not agree with this particular trade. So you would not have entered, and therefore you would not have had a losing trade on your hands. This is proper trade management. Here's another example. This is in letter O, okay? In Reality Income Corporation. A sell signal was generated. Now, we know a lot of traders don't like to go short. They feel uncomfortable. They feel like they're betting against the country or whatever. That's fine. We're not going to tell you what to do. Remember, that's not what a teacher does to traders. What a teacher does is give you these opportunities to make your own decision. But let's say you were long this stock and you like to use the sell signals as exit points. All right, so should you use this sell signal to exit? Once again, going back and looking at past signals and patterns here, you would have noticed by the technique I'll teach you in the course that the market did not agree with you selling. Therefore, you would not have sold, and you could have actually captured a lot more gains if you were long this stock. See how you can minimize risk, on top of that, increase your profits. Here's another example. This was in the Canadian dollar. This was a buy signal given just about a month ago in August. All the rules were met. But remember, with trade management, we're not going to focus so much on the actual strategy. We're focusing on the initiation to actually once you're in the trade. According to this technique, once again, the market did not agree to go long. So you would not have taken this trade and therefore would not have suffered this large loss in the Canadian dollar. Remember, it's all about minimizing risk and letting your profits increase if you can. Now, it's not guaranteed that each and every trade will have this. Sometimes you will have minor losses, but if you're able to use proper trade management, you can keep your losses to a minimum. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about taking control of your risk. Once again, most traders say, hey, Steve, I know how to do that. I'm only going to risk like a couple $100 on every trade I have. Well, that's a good way to look at it, but oftentimes that will really stand in your way of becoming profitable. Let me show you what I mean here. Let's look at this example in AMC. Now, this was an actual example just about 3 weeks ago in a buy signal one of our strategies generated. Let's say you had a average size account, $15,000, $20,000, let's say, okay? A little bit more than average for most traders. And you had a nice account there and it was a buy signal, okay? Well, look what happened. The trade didn't really work out, all right? Even though everything was verified, the market said it was okay to buy this, it didn't work out. Here's one way to minimize risk using this technique I will share with you on how to control your risk properly, okay? On a standard, let's say just for a round number, $20,000 account, just using the basics, traditional way, you most likely would have lost roughly around $1,100 or a little bit more. But using the same premise, but with this technique applied, guess what? You reduce that risk down to $400. Why? Because we added this trade management technique. You see how you're minimizing your risk. Now, we're not focusing on the strategy. We're not focusing on any of the rules of where to place your stop. None of that. We're just focusing on trade management once you're in the trade. Now, we can minimize risk with this, but we can also have a chance to increase profits. Here's an example of a buy signal that was generated in May in NVIDIA. Okay, let's say you have a larger size account because this is a more expensive stock. Let's say you have a $50,000 account. Okay, all right. Now, it was correct to buy this because the market gave you the go-ahead. The market said, yeah, we identified that this is a proper signal that you should be getting in, and you would have had a nice profit. And let's say you held the position all the way up until the highest high right here. Now, someone with a $50,000 account trading this standard way would have most likely made about $4,400. Not a bad trade here that lasted just about a month or so. But using the proper trade management technique that I'll teach you in the course, the same size account, same way, same stop, same entry point, you could have potentially captured upwards of $8,800, okay? And with nothing changing in the rules of the strategy. This is the beauty of applying trade management, minimizing risk, and having the ability to oftentimes, not guaranteed, but be able to, a chance to increase your profits. That's another thing we'll cover. We'll also talk about turning a losing trade into a winner. This was a very difficult concept for me because oftentimes when I was first learning how to trade with my mentors, I'd have a losing trade. I would apply proper trade management and I would exit with a small loss and say, okay, didn't work out, but I'll look for something else. And they say, we'll show you a technique on how you can get back into that and turn it into a winning trade. And I said, how can you do that? I mean, I thought once I'm stopped out, it's over. Well, not really. For example, let's look at this chart here in Microsoft. This was an actual buy signal going back to April. Okay. Now look what happened. It was confirmed, but it didn't work out. You would have had a loss here. Okay. But with the technique that I will teach you, you would have been able to turn this loss into a winner. where you could have potentially captured more profits simply by applying this trade management technique. Here's another example. Here's a 4-hour chart of the Swiss franc. Okay, this just happened about a little less than a month, by maybe 3 weeks ago. Okay, a sell signal was generated on this 4-hour chart. And for the first day or two, it looked pretty good, but then all of a sudden it went the opposite direction and you would have been stopped out most likely. Okay, I will teach you with this trade management technique how you could have turned this loss actually into a winner, because ultimately it did go in the direction you originally wanted, with a simple technique on how to trade this with proper trade management. Remember, it's all about minimizing risk and having an opportunity to increase your profits. One more example, letter L, okay, Lowe's Corporation. Buy signal was generated here. If you did the way I used to trade when I first started trading, you would have taken a small loss and said, okay, well, it didn't work out. That's okay. I didn't lose a lot. I'll look for another stock. I'll look for something else to trade. But with this one technique, you could have turned this loss into an actual winner. You'll learn exactly how to do that in the course. We'll also talk about how to stay in a winning trade much longer. This is probably one of the most asked questions with a lot of our students. They say, you know, Steve, I'll get out too quickly, and the stock or the future or the currency pair or the crypto just keeps going higher and higher or lower and lower if I'm short. We'll show you ways in which to stay in, if you'd like to, much, much longer. We'll also show you how to re-enter a winning trade. Here's what happens a lot of times. A lot of times you'll say to yourself, wow, you know, I'm holding on to my position and I'm really doing well. Can I buy more along the way? Well, here's a great way to take advantage of that as well. This is another way to maximize profits. By re-entering while you're already in the trade, you can buy more shares, you can buy more futures contracts, whatever you're trading. We'll show you how to do that. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what you'll learn. There are many more techniques from the trading floor. You won't find a lot of these techniques anywhere else other than in the new course. These are techniques I learned from the trading floor from my mentors who taught me these same things. Now, we're also going to include an extra bonus. This is a full-fledged course. This is something probably one of my babies. I'm really proud of this course that we put together about a year ago. We're going to include this course for you. This is our PI course, which stands for Patterns in Equity. Now, this is probably one of the best courses in which to apply for using trade management, but it uses it and applies it in a different way. You see, we'll be teaching you with the majority of this course how to apply proper trade management to a particular signal, to a particular trade. What PI does is it applies those same things to your profit and loss to see how well your strategy has been performing. So you can apply these same techniques to your own strategy. Let me give you an example here of an actual student's profit and loss statement. Now, this was a student of ours going back to when we first gave this class that was trading, and this student was doing extremely well. As you can see here, each one of these bars represents a winning or losing trade. The student was doing very well, and I believe at the peak, he was up close to 40,000. Now, obviously, they had a very large account, but at this peak, he was up to winning close to 40,000, okay? And then, as with all things, he went into a drawdown phase and gave away a lot of that profit. So here's where the student stopped trading and said, listen, I'm going to take my profit, even though, you know, I was doing much better. Each one of these bars represents a losing trade as a down bar or a winning trade, okay? This is your profit and loss. So at the end of this period, from trading here from January to middle of April in roughly about 3 years ago, the student gained nearly $15,000, $14,929.30 to be exact. But look at the drawdown. The drawdown means that was the worst series of losses they had while they were in the trade or while they were trading this strategy. Lost nearly $28,000. That's how much he gave away. Okay, 27,897.70. So the risk reward wasn't that good. He made roughly $15,000, but while he was doing that, he gave away roughly close to $28,000. Okay, still had a profit. This is the way most traders say, well, hey, look, I'm doing okay. I still made 15 grand. Yeah, but the statistics, the numbers don't really add up very well. By applying PI, this is once again, one of my favorite, and I use PI in my trading, personal trading every day to apply for money management of my strategy. We'll show you how, with the same strategy, not changing any of the rules, not changing the market, not changing anything, just by applying this course, which we call Pi, the trader could have increased his profits up to 32,682, over 100%, doubling what they would have done. But here's the best thing. Instead of losing roughly $28,000, he would have diminished that down to $6,260. So at any time, the worst he was losing out of that 32,000 was $6,260, okay? The worst drawdown. This is by simply applying Pi, and guess what? This will be included in the trade management course, along with many other great things. As I said, we're only showing you a tip of the iceberg. This is why it is so important to apply trading management to whatever you're trading. So this is the Managing the Trade course. You'll see how important it is, how it can really turn around your trading. If your trading has been doing terrible, or else if you're just actually just trading trending water the way I did, when I was first started trading, I was just basically breaking even. This will take your trading to the next level. So let's recap. Remember, trade management is everything a trader does, not prior to the trade, not finding out where to buy, where to sell, where to place your stop, but it's after a trade is open until the trade is closed. Extremely important. And the reason why we want to apply trade management is by managing these trades, traders can often increase their profits, as we've shown you, while minimizing risk. That's what it's all about. Okay, let me tell you about a great offer we have now. This course is going to be starting very soon, probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks. It's going to be a live course. It's going to be our Managing the Trade course. It's entirely new. We've never done this before because it's going to be focusing on what to do once you are in the trade. Remember, it's all about increasing profits, minimizing risk. Now, someone said, well, Steve, you showed a lot of stocks here. I really don't trade stocks. I trade crypto, or I trade currency pairs or futures, or I'm an intraday trader. It doesn't matter. Everything I'll be teaching you can be applied to any market and to any time frame. Plus, you'll get the full Pi course included along with other courses, okay? Included will be educational correspondence. This is our special trade management course. But we're also going to throw in another bonus included with this, okay? Everything you saw today was displayed on the PTS Primo Charting platform. Here's what we're going to do. We're adding a Managing the Trade section of the PTS Primo chart. So this will include a trade management dashboard on the chart itself that will display all the categories that we'll be teaching you in the course to help you once you are in the trade. So it'll be like a little dashboard of categories that you need to go by and have a checklist so that you'll know exactly if you are managing the trade correctly. All right, you can decide to apply some of these or all of these. It'll be your decision, but at least you will have a reminder of knowing what to do. And then once you get it into your system and once you initiate it enough with each and every trade, then it'll be just like second nature and you won't even need to use it anymore because you'll know exactly what to do once you're in the trade. It will be the next best thing to having me sit there right beside you once you are trading. Now, on top of that, for new students, you will get a full month, or I should say a full 12 months free of the platform. So we realize a lot of our students already have the platform, but people are new to the PTS Primo Charting platform and able to get this charting dashboard with the trade management included. New students will get a full year free of the platform. This is another bonus included. Remember, with trade management, you'll never again ask yourself the question, what do I do now? Now what do I do? How many times have you said that to yourself? How many times have you been in a trade and all of a sudden some news event happens or something comes out or there's some announcement and all of a sudden the market goes haywire and you're going, oh my goodness, now what do I do? Gosh, this is not according to the plan. Everything was working out smoothly because everything was just orderly. Once again, think of that river example. Sure, it's easy if the river stays the same and you're in a nice inner tube going down the river drinking a beer. But what happens if all of a sudden you see 50 yards ahead, there's a small waterfall? How is that inner tube going to help you? All right, you need to know what to do once you're in that situation. It's no different with trading. You never have to ask yourself, now what do I do, if you know how to apply proper trade management. And that's what we're devoting in this course, okay? Now, for more information on pricing, on discounts, there will be an early bird discount. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. There are many more things included within this course. Give them a call. They can fill you in at 310-598-6677. They have trading consultants manning the phones right now. They'd be happy to answer any more questions about the upcoming course. This is our first inaugural presentation on it, so we really haven't gone into detail about what more is included in this. We just gave you the tip of the iceberg. There's so much included. It's probably going to be a multi-day course where it just won't be one day for a couple of hours. It'll probably be more than a day or two. Okay, it'll be a live class that I will be teaching to a select group of students. Now, the link you see at the very bottom is the link that will take you to the info page as well as the sign-up page if you'd like to sign up online. It's not a live link, but if you look on the chat box of the Zoom icons there, you will click that on and then you will see that there is a live link posted. Okay, I promise you I would take any questions. So if you have some, now is the time to either go to the chat box or the question and answer little icon there, click it on and just write that in. Someone is asking, when will the classes take place? Probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks, okay? And remember, most classes are usually one-day classes because with our past presentations, they've just been on a specific strategy or a specific indicator. But trade management covers so many things. We're going to be giving you so much in this educational class and course. This will most likely be at least a 2-day class. So it'll be, one day for a couple of hours and another day for a couple of hours. And we will probably pick the day upcoming in the future. Most of our courses are held on Friday, okay? And there are just a couple of hours so you can study the information and go over it over the weekend. Okay, if there are no other questions, I leave you now to once again contact Pro Trader Strategies. There's absolutely no obligation. They would be happy to fill you in on the information about pricing as well as discounts. Once again, we always give early bird discounts. They were in charge of that, so I would contact them. Call them 310-598-6677. They'd be happy to give you a quote. We also have payment plans. We'd be happy to offer you that as well, okay? As we close, I just want to say thank you so much. Remember, there is going to be so much included in this. We will have upcoming webinars going into detail about what's included in the course. This was just the tip of the iceberg, the inaugural webinar. We will be giving more webinars in the future as we get closer. But remember, as we get closer, most likely that early bird special will be off the table. So if you're interested at all, please sign up, contact Pro Trader Strategies. They would be happy to give you more information about that, okay? As we close up and take one last look at our disclaimer, thank you so much for attending. I wish you all the best of luck in trading. Remember, in order to become a successful, consistent trader, you need to apply trade management. The best way to learn how to do that is by becoming a student of mine in this course. So I look forward to all of you becoming students of mine in the Managing the Trade course, which will be upcoming in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Thank you so much for attending today. I hope to see you in class. Bye-bye.